I'm going to call the meeting to order. Are we good to go, Steve? Okay, so today is Tuesday, July 6, 2021. This is the first meeting of the school year for the Greenberg Central School District Board of Education. This is our reorganization meeting. I'm officially calling the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. We anticipate that we're going to adjourn to exec session. Can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the employment history of particular persons being considered for the board action this evening?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We're in exec session.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the annual organization meeting of the Greenberg Central School District. If you'd like to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, I can.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the swearing in of the incoming board members. Please pardon my back. Mr. Thomas, please rise and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and to faithfully discharge your duties as trustee of the Greenberg Central School District to the best of your ability? Congratulations. Please raise your right hand. Ms. Fallon, do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and to faithfully discharge your duties as trustee of the Greenberg Central School District to the best of your ability? Congratulations. I don't want to be in the way. Ms. Washington, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and to faithfully discharge your duties as trustee of the Greenberg Central School District to the best of your ability? I do. Congratulations. Next item on the agenda is the election of the president. Before I take nominations for the office of president, I would just ask that you raise your hand so that I can call upon you, since I'm also taking the minutes of this meeting. Also, in the event that a candidate is unopposed, Robert's Rules of Order states that an election is not required. The floor is now open for nominations. Mr. Pineda.
I nominate Tracy Maris for president.
Is there a second?
I second.
I'm sorry, I can't, we're in a straight line, I couldn't see who said that.
It's Tanya Dragic, and I second that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dragic. Are there any further nominations? Going once? Twice? Nominations are closed. Ms. Mayers is the president for the 2021
Oh, there he is, okay. All right, we're good to go? Okay, public, I do want to introduce you to a special guest that we have tonight in our public audience. Our upcoming future superintendent, Dr. Linda Iverson, is here virtually as a guest, as a public watcher of our meeting. So welcome, Dr. Iverson. And so now we're going to take statements from the public. The time is now 8:18, and we have one speaker signed up. I am probably not going to pronounce your name correctly, but I'm going to say Mr. Sal is signed up to speak. Please come to the podium. You have 4 minutes. The topic that he's going to speak on is vending machines.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? My name is Abdullah So, and I'm here on behalf of Earn Your Leisure Vending. Before I get into what Earn Your Leisure Vending is, I'll just give you a little background information about myself. So, I was born and raised in Greenburgh, New York. I'm a product of Greenburgh Central School District from Leaf Jackson all the way up to Woodlands High School. I then went on to further my education at SUNY Brockport, where I received my bachelor's and master's degree. And I then went on to work for the Earn Your Leisure podcast, which is one of the top business podcasts in the country, which is founded by 3 community members, Troy Millings, Rashad Bilal, as well as Michael McDonald. And partnering with them, we have come to begin Earn Your Leisure Vending, as well as my colleague, Darmody Smith, who is a 2021 Woodlands High School graduate. I don't believe he can speak right now, so I'll speak for him. Hopefully he can chime in at the end. And that brings us to Earn Your Leisure Vending. And basically what that is a vending machine company, and we wanted to start with our old high school and find a way to give back to the students. So part of our business plan that we have here is that 15% of the monthly profit will actually be going back to the current senior class. And the idea behind that is that each senior class will get to reap the benefits of the vending machine each year, and that'll help with expenses like prom, senior trips. I know when I was here, I didn't get to have a senior trip. I don't even think it was an idea. So if we're able to just take one less expense from each senior class, I think it could go a long way. And our projected revenue, the seniors can see up to over $10,000 a year, and that's on the smaller end with 3 machines. If we had more machines, it would only go higher. And I think if my senior class in 2014 had over $10,000 to play with, I think it would have went a long way, whether that's the senior trip, whether that's taking care of prom tickets, whatever it may be. I know I worked the senior store when I was here at Woodlands, and it's very hard. I know teachers run back and forth from Sam's Club last minute to make sure that it's set, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really move the needle in terms of prom. I know it's very expensive, and coming off a pandemic, I know a lot of families are struggling just to, whether it's paying for a limo, a tux, or just a prom ticket itself. So Darmody, I've actually been working with him for over a year and a half now on his vending machine idea, and he actually just went to prom this last year. He kind of went through that same thing I was speaking about. So we think it's a great opportunity to build an ecosystem within Greenburgh where the students are actually putting money into the vending machines and it's actually coming right back. And everybody that's a part of the business is from Greenburgh, went to Woodlands. Darmody just graduated this year. Congratulations to him. And he actually doesn't know this, but part of our business plan is we want to buy him his own vending machine and give him the outright, that would be just his vending machine, 100%. And he would actually become a business owner straight out of high school. He's actually going to WCC next year for business. So this will give him the experience as well as in the classroom learning. I have my master's degree, and the biggest thing I've learned since being out of school is nothing beats experience. I have to actually go into workforce, actually learn things that I couldn't learn in school. So we want to give him that opportunity. He's just learning this today, so he's probably excited. But we're going to buy him his own machine, hopefully, and that's my proposal. So I'll take any questions you have. I know I kind of ran through it fast. I know I only have 4 minutes, so I'll take any questions you have.
You do have a minute left, if there's anything else you'd like to share.
So I know a big thing with vending machines in high schools is healthy snacks. So we are completely aware of that. We would love to work with the Board of Education or whoever it may be in terms of stocking the machines. Our machines do have healthy snack options as well as beverage options, and we're more than willing to help to adjust to any parameters that would be set in terms of healthy snacks, because we know that's a big deal. Another thing I would just love to mention is I did play sports here for 6 years, so I spent a lot of money in the vending machines when they were here. I know when I was here, there were about 10 to 12 vending machines throughout the building, cafeteria, gym. I spent a lot of money, and I never even thought of where that money was actually going. So just for the students to know that I'm spending $1 at this vending machine, a part of it's coming back to me. Whether you're in 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, you will reap the benefits of that when you get to your senior year, and I think it can make a huge difference for not just our community, but the students as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sal. Are there any questions from board members? I see one, trustee Pineda.
Quick question, how would you handle the maintenance of the machines, the upkeep, et cetera?
So maintenance would be handled by Darmody and myself. We both are Greenberg residents, so I literally live about 5 minutes down the road. Darmody lives about 5 minutes down the road as well. So we would be heading the company. We are partnering with Earn Your Leisure, which is the podcast I mentioned earlier. So we do have that support from them, but me and him would actually be starting up the company and heading it. So maintenance would be done by us. All machines are brand new. They're not any used machines, so in terms of maintenance problems, we shouldn't run into too many, but you never know for the unexpected. So maintenance would be handled in a timely manner, being that we do live in the community and can get here pretty quick.
Thank you.
No problem.
Trustee Thomas.
I just want to mention that I know the Earn Your Leisure guys, really well. They are, they are great examples, from this community. I think that, working in conjunction with them is something students really can kind of look up to people who, two of them went to school here. And so I think this is a pretty good idea.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Dragic.
I just wanted some more details about how many vending machines we're talking about and whether the district is going to pay you some kind of a rental, or if you're just only making money on the sales. Like, what is the business plan here, actually?
No problem. So the business plan I have here, and I mentioned earlier that the projected revenue was about $10,000 per year for the senior class. That's based on 3 vending machines, 2 of them being beverage machines, 1 being snack machines. In terms of the number of vending machines that would totally be on Woodlands High School, we would love to put as many vending machines that you see needed in Woodlands. Just for the business plan purposes, I use 3 vending machines, 2 beverage, 1 snack. I know that would usually be located by the gym outside the weight room when I was here, so we just went off those projections. But like I said earlier, the more machines, the higher the projections go, and we're not opposed to putting as many machines in here because at the end of the day, it will only be benefiting our students.
So I'm not quite understanding what your profit is versus what goes back to the school and the kids.
No problem. So we wouldn't charge for rentals. We would put the machines in here for free. Our profit would be off the profit made each month, but 15% of that would be going towards the senior class each month.
Got it.
No problem.
Thank you. Are there any other trustees with questions? I see Trustee Warner and Trustee Washington.
Sure. So my question is, do we have existing vending contracts? Do they have exclusivity clauses? And if so, when do those contracts end?
Okay, that would be a question, a business office question. Well, can we get to that one second? Let's just see what Ms. Washington wants to know.
Good evening, and thank you for coming to the Board of Education with this great proposal. Do you have a written proposal for us so that we can review and maybe get back to you on some other things that we might have questions about?
Yes, I do have 2 copies of a written proposal here. I don't have enough for everybody, which is why I didn't hand it out prior.
Well, if you can give it to the president and the vice president, that would be great.
No problem.
Thank you.
And if there's no further questions, I do want to update everyone. I understand you have a meeting with our business office this week. Thank you. Is it this week?
What? I didn't know that we scheduled the exact date this week.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so it's this Thursday, I believe.
Okay. Did you schedule the email with? Oh, no problem. So.
Okay, well, look at that. Thursday, if you're
Thursday
free, she's
yes,
free.
yes.
Maybe if you could give them a call tomorrow. and
I
give 'em-
believe I sent you an email, sir.
Me personally?
Yes, I sent it back to you.
Okay. So I'll check my email. I don't believe I saw it, but I'll check my email. No problem.
Okay, but you guys will touch base sometime tomorrow to confirm.
No problem.
And
For
currently,
Thursday?
we have no vending machines
Yes.
currently.
Okay, good.
Thank you for clarifying that, Ms. Raymond. So currently, no vending machines, which is great on the legal side, but you are going to meet with our business official hopefully Thursday, and then hopefully, this sounds pretty good. We did get the written proposal. I believe Ms. Raymond also has a copy of the written proposal. If you could maybe share that with the board and see if there's any additional questions. Maybe the board can forward any questions you think of to Ms. Raymond before Thursday, after we receive this written proposal, so that she can address it in the meeting with them. Okay?
It was my intention to meet with them on Thursday, interview them, ask them a series of questions so that I had it for the board, include their proposal in my Friday update to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And good luck to our recent graduate.
No, thank you. If I could mention one last thing, if possible. So we did speak with the junior class advisor also about the idea, just to see if they would be on board, being that he would be the senior class advisor for the next year, and he was all on board. The biggest problem currently was the senior store, just running into a lot of hassles with teachers having to run back and forth to Sam's Club and not seeing that much profit for the work they're putting in. So it's kind of the idea behind this was to replace the senior store and give them even more money at the end of the year towards their prom, whether it's end of the year. Hopefully they can go on a big expensive trip one year. Just a bunch of different ideas, so the opportunities are endless.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so we're going to move forward to our annual approvals. We're going to move forward to our annual organization meeting approvals. First, we have Section B. So I'm going to turn to Section B. Is there a motion to approve the... I'm sorry?
It's a little muffled, but I'm trying to listen carefully.
I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Can I get a motion to approve the appointment items presented to the board for approval this evening for Section B, our
So-
appointments?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the authorization item, Section C, presented to the board for approval this evening?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved, properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All the-
Discussion.
Okay.
Just a quick question. For any designations we're making tonight, if there is someone that is no longer with us beyond, are we going to have a new vote on that, or how do we plan on handling that?
Okay. District Clerk, is there any way you, I don't know if you heard Trustee Pineda's question, if you can answer.
I apologize, I did not.
Sure. So my question was, some of our designations this evening are for the entire school year, and there will be some folks that will no longer be with us during this whole school year. So how do we plan on addressing that? Are we re-voting this again at a future meeting once there's a new individual, or how are we handling that?
What happens is, for annual organization approvals, such as Title IX, coordinator, things like that, when there's a new hire, there will be a resolution for that new person to take on those roles for the rest of the school year.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion is had. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Section D, designations. So we do need to have a discussion regarding number D5, the Board of Education meetings. District Clerk, do you want to clarify with the locations?
It was just a question if the board for this school year, since you're just coming back from being remote for a year and a half, if you wanted to move to the different schools as you've done in the past. You'll meet, at Leaf Jackson for one meeting, Highview for another, RJ Bailey for another. Or if you just wanted to remain static for this school year and just have all your meetings here at Woodlands.
Thank you so much for clarifying, Ms. Kraus. Does anybody have any discussion on that?
I do have some discussion on that.
Okay, Trustee Washington, I observe you, and then Mr. Warner, and then I think Dr. Dragic.
I believe that we need to have some meetings at RJ Bailey because we have different community members that might not be able to travel to Woodlands High School. So maybe we don't go to every school, but it could be Woodlands and then RJ Bailey, so that some people can make most of our meetings.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Warner?
And I think that we should be in touch with all the schools, and so I think we can go ahead and rotate as we have in the past.
Thank you. And Dr. Dragic?
So I agree with David that we should, as we have in the past, cycle through all of the schools. I did want to ask the board if they were in general okay with our meetings being on Tuesdays, basically every second week, or if we would want to consider perhaps another day for the work sessions.
I have discussion around that.
Okay, let me just finish and then you
Okay.
can go ahead. So I think, I mean, there are two issues here. One is that we need to keep our meetings to a human schedule and end them on time. And the other is, you know, what really works best for the majority of the trustees, especially those who have work schedules that are inflexible. So I just, for me, I'm very flexible, but I just wanted to give an opportunity to the other trustees to voice their opinion about this issue. So I cede the floor.
Okay, I see you, Trustee Washington.
Yes, I do have some discussion around maybe our work sessions. I do work, so coming every other Tuesday at 7 o'clock is, you know, a little inconvenient. So I'm wondering if the board would even take a suggestion on maybe having our work session on a Saturday morning.
Does any trustee Thomas, Valen, Warner, Pineda, what do you guys think? I heard from
My
Dragic.
question is whether we are able to have our administrative staff there. I have no issue as an individual board member. I can do a Saturday, but I'm not sure if you're requiring the staff to come in on Saturdays, if that's what you want to do.
Okay, so the point of issue that you're bringing up is staffing for the weekend,
Right,
a
not me.
Saturday meeting. Trustee Pineda, Valen, Thomas, do you have any feedback?
My preference would be to continue to do every other Tuesday.
I'm on the same with that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pineda, I didn't hear you.
I'm the same as Mr. Thomas.
Trustee Valen?
I agree with Mr. Thomas and Mr. Pineda.
Okay, so we have three pretty strong feelings of staying on Tuesday. I hear Mr. Warner saying you could be flexible. Trustee Dragic, you would like to change it, or you wanted to just bring it up? Trustee Washington,
I'm just very
what do you think?
flexible. I'm very flexible. I'm willing to work with the trustees who have more constrained schedules than I do. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Washington?
Well, I will go with the majority. It was a suggestion. And just in reference to us going from building to building, we do need to think of COVID-19 and the Delta variant. So I know we want to be a presence in the community, but we have to think, hopefully, and, you know, prayerfully, we don't have to deal with that, but just in case, maybe having one or two locations only would benefit our safety as board members. So that's something to consider. Or just staying in Woodlands just for this 1 year. I do not mind, but I do think we need to consider our safety and our health.
Okay, is it possible maybe just to take a polling? I mean, this is not on the agenda, Ivy, but can we just get feedback from everyone if they want to stay at the three issues at hand, or stay at one location, which is Woodlands Middle High School, stay at 1 to 2 locations, or the third option is going round robin like we do prior to COVID?
Ms. Mayers, are you asking just for their suggestion, or do you want that as a formal motion?
Well, I'm just asking, it sounds like that's the three issues that came up, so I'm trying to figure out how we can get that feedback from everyone.
Well, we could start with the first item, which is stay at Woodlands Middle High School for the school year. Ms. Washington?
I say stay at Woodlands High School for the upcoming school year.
Ms. Fallon?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Oh, the first item, we're taking it one by one to see if that's the majority, then you don't have to go to the other ones.
What was the first item?
Stay at Woodlands Middle High School for the
Okay,
school year.
got it, okay.
Ms. Fallon?
Thinking that if the COVID variants become more widespread, that we may need to go to a remote option at some point. I am open to either staying at Woodlands or visiting the schools, but in their more spacious gyms rather than the cafeterias at the smaller schools. I don't know if that's an answer you want.
I'm sorry, so that was to stay at Woodlands for the school year?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I knew that's not the answer you want. It's either, I'm open to either staying at Woodlands or visiting the schools. I would advocate if we visit the schools, that we do not go to the small cafeterias, that we go to the bigger gym spaces.
So which do you prefer, Ms. Fallon?
I'm 50-50. It's not helpful to you.
Okay, so then let's move on then to Mr. Pineda.
I would prefer we visit all the schools.
He said all schools. Trustee Werner?
All schools.
Trustee Dragic?
All schools.
Trustee Thomas?
All schools?
Looks like all schools has it. And for the record, we heard you, Ms. Vallon, with regard to the meeting space being in the largest space available, like a gym. Okay, so we will do the round robin for that. I do want to bring up and try to put closure to the question about meeting on a weekend or not. I did hear some flexibility for the trustees that are dead set on Tuesday. Is it possible maybe to do one meeting on a Saturday in the, what I would call fall semester between September and January, and maybe one meeting on a Saturday between February and June? I see Trustee Pineda's hand.
I think that's gonna add a lot of confusion. What I was gonna suggest is, if there's an issue with the timing, specifically of the work sessions, which is the earlier meeting at 6:30, perhaps we should consider moving that back to accommodate everyone. That was my suggestion.
Great suggestion, and I see someone's hand moving. Trustee Vallon.
I agree with Mr. Pineda's suggestion to move the start time of the work sessions later to help accommodate people. I also think we've discussed this past year in various committees, having committee meetings on the weekend to accommodate getting input from the community, specifically the Community Engagement Committee and Communications Committee, and I think we've, the facilities and financial planning committees have also met on the weekend, so maybe that could cover those needs to get additional input.
Great, so I hear feedback. It does not sound like there's a majority feel for a weekend official meeting, but definitely committees. And it sounds like there's a suggestion for moving the work session to 7 p.m. start time instead of 6:30.
I can support that.
I could support that as well. Does anybody want to stay at 6:30? Hearing no feedback, so Ivy, do you got that? That we're going to be moving our work sessions to 7 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now, can I get a motion to accept the, I think it was called determinations?
Oh, wait,
No.
one item, Ms. Mayers, I
Yes.
apologize.
Okay.
The resolutions that were posted for item D3 needs to be amended to include your name as board president.
Thank you.
And you'll also have the amendment regarding the board meeting work session starting at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Trustees, for your convenience, I ask that Ms. Kraus print out this here, which is a one-page visual. So you should have a copy of that in your paperwork of the meetings. It's like a calendar for our planning purposes. So can I get a motion to approve the designation items, Section D, presented to the board for approval this evening as amended?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Section E, determinations. Is there a motion to approve the determination items presented to the board for this evening?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We're going to convene the regular meeting now. So we're going to move on to regular meeting approvals with Section G, instructional personnel items. Can I get a motion to approve Section G, instructional personnel items, with the exception of item G4?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Are there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. G4 is Ms. Tatiana Lapson. Ms. Lapson is here today, so I did want to take that chance to acknowledge her. Hello. And can I get a motion to approve instructional personnel item G4?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Ms. Lapson, welcome to Greenberg Central School District. Do you mind coming up and saying hello for just a brief moment? And thank you for being so patient and waiting for our procedural things that we do. Is the mic on?
Hello? Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for having me, and I just wanted to say that I'm truly honored and excited to be joining Greenberg Central School District as a first grade teacher at Jackson Elementary. I've heard many wonderful things about the school, and I heard from many members of the community, including Dr. Reynolds, who I spoke to, about how magical and truly special the school is. So I'm grateful to now be part of it, and I'm looking forward to learning from the wonderful team of educators at Jackson Elementary, and also I'm looking forward to sharing my own expertise and knowledge as a teacher. I have been working with young children for many, many years now. I think this is my 13th year working as a teacher, and I'm excited to be part of your team. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out. So now I'm going to move on to personnel non-instructional items. Can I get a motion to approve the personnel non-instructional items as presented this evening?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's move on to I, board action items. Can I get a motion to approve the board action items as presented this evening?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And let's move on to Section J, Finance. Can I get a motion to approve Section J, Finance items as presented this evening?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Now we have Section K, Business items. Can I get a motion to approve our business items as presented this evening?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes.
I see you, Ms. Fallon, trustee Fallon.
Can I just get verification that we have in writing the correction to item K6?
Item K6.
I saw that an amendment was made, but do we have that in writing from that school district?
I'm not sure if that would be Dr. Reynolds or Ms. Kraus.
Ms. Fallon, are you referring to the cost?
Yes.
Yes, we do have that in writing, that it was their mistake.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. It's been properly moved and seconded. Are all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We're going to move on to item, where was I? JKL. L, Pupil Personnel Services. Can I get a motion to approve the Pupil Personnel Services as presented to the board this evening?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going on to section M, which is closing items. Now, the items up for discussion are the board retreats. Does any trustee have any discussion with regard to the retreats? Any opinions, questions?
I do.
Trustee Pineda.
So I think we desperately need to have a team building retreat, specifically because we have about 40% of our board that is now new. So I think that we need to do two things. We need to do a team building retreat so that we can all learn how to work with each other and how we work best and optimize our teamwork. And the second thing I think we need to do is have a refresher on the parameters of executive session, et cetera, that could be provided to us by our attorney. So I think we should either schedule to combine those on a single day or do two separate days.
So trustee Pineda, I hear you want to have a retreat with two items, team building and legal refresher.
Correct.
Okay, great. Does any other trustee have any feedback, agreeing, disagreeance, concerns?
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
David was before me.
Okay, trustee Warner, then Dragic.
Okay, so I think that in terms of scheduling it, we need to make sure that our new superintendent is in place. So that should...
I can't hear you, David.
I think that when we schedule this thing, we should make sure that our new superintendent is in place. So that means the window is probably early August instead of late July, I would think.
Okay, so the suggestion is to be respectful to Dr. Iverson's scheduling, make sure that she's in place and has to hit the ground running with certain things and maybe give some time, like August, is the suggestion?
Yes.
Okay, great. Dr. Dragic?
So I think that it would be good to do two separate dates, if it's possible for everyone. One is a refresher for the board in terms of, governance, I guess, for lack of a better word, which perhaps Dr. Iverson does not need to attend, and then have the other team building session, which she would, and I have to say, because of COVID, we didn't have one, but I'm wondering if the board would consider also inviting other central administration to participate besides Dr. Iverson. I think that might be a good idea.
Okay, so inviting maybe business, curriculum?
Business and curriculum, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
To team building?
For the team building, yes.
Okay. I don't think that's a bad idea. Does anybody have any other feedback? Trustee Thomas, Valen?
My question is there an administrators retreat this year?
Your question is there an administrators retreat this year? I think our new superintendent would have to make that decision when she comes. I see you're nodding, but when she comes, she could officially make that decision.
Yes.
But I think the recommendation from trustee Dragic, or the suggestion, is to have the central office administrations, like the superintendent, the business, and curriculum, come to team building with us.
Not a problem. Sounds good.
Any other trustee feedback?
I have some
Valen, Thomas,
feedback.
Washington?
Yes, I agree with Ashley Pineda, what he was saying. I think we need to focus on the Board of Education first, And then as, you know, we build on, we can maybe speak with Dr. Iverson if she's ready to bring in her central office staff to one of our retreats. But I think we need to focus on ourselves and with Dr. Iverson so that we can have more knowledge and training so we know what we're doing in this seat. And then as we build that knowledge, Dr. Iverson can say, you know, I'm having a retreat with my administrators, or let's get together and let's work together. So I like Ashley Pineda's first idea to focus on the Board of Education with the training and with the refresher and with the retreat.
Okay, great. Does anyone feel strongly, one way or the other, that we need to have two separate trainings or one? I hear Pineda and Washington feel strongly about one. Do you feel strongly about two?
I think they both said two, basically.
You said two topics in one meeting,
No, I think they said two,
but they want
two
two
separate
separate meetings. Okay, okay, great. So let's look at scheduling, everyone, please. I don't know if you have your August calendar out. I don't know if our legal, you also have your calendar? You know already? Okay. So anyone want to propose some dates? Or tell us some dates that do not work at all? I'll start. I cannot do the weekend of the 13th, 14th, 15th, so that's out for me,
13, 14, 15
of August.
of August.
Question. Are you only looking at weekends?
No, I was just saying, for me, I can't do that weekend at all.
If we did split it into two meetings, for example, the legal governance part could be an evening, if that's only an hour or two.
I can't.
I'm
hear
sorry, Trustee Valen, I can't hear you.
Sorry, the legal governance part, if that's only possibly an hour or two, could be done during a weeknight, just as a point of reference. As far as my timing, I'm not available until the 9th of August.
You're not available until the 9th, okay.
I'm sorry, until the 9th of August? Okay.
If we were only looking at August, that's correct.
What about July?
The suggestion from Trustee Warner was August because we want Dr. Iverson to be able to get in and
But
Okay,
if we're
got it.
start
splitting it
working
in
before
two-
she comes.
But if we're splitting it in two, then depending on the topic, it might be okay. You could have one in July and one in August.
Okay, what say you for July, everyone?
At this point, anything's good for me. I'm just going to go with the people who have less flexible schedules.
Does anyone have restrictions in July? So the week, from our attorneys, the week of the 25th, 26th, 28th, or 29 in July work for the firm. And we're looking at an evening for up to 2 hours. I see Trustee Pineda's hand.
Can I suggest July 29th?
Yes, you can. So July 29th is a Thursday. Should we schedule like 7 to 9 to be safe, or is that time fine for everyone? And
Yes.
that would be the legal training.
I'm very sorry, but July 29th is not good for Kiana Washington.
Okay, Kiana Washington, tell us what dates work for you out of the 25th, 26th, or 28th.
So for July the 26th through the 30th, not good for me.
July 25th, it sounds like, which is,
26th to the 30th.
so 25th, it sounds like July 25th is a
That's
Sunday.
a Sunday.
Right,
You
I
can-
said 26, right. So, and then August,
No, I'm sorry, Ms. Washington, can I stop you?
Yep.
26th is not good for you?
the 26th through the 30th is not good for
Okay.
me.
Okay. So we're back into August. So it
Right.
looks like we're doing, availability is August 10th, 11th, and 12th.
I can do the 10th or the 11th. I cannot do the 12th until the 30th.
So 10th, 11th, or the 30th or 31st. Is that what I'm hearing?
The 12th through the 30th of August. So I am available the 10th and the 11th.
And you're available the 30th and 31st?
Yes.
Okay, great. So What about the week of August? I heard trustee Valen say she's not free till August 10th, correct?
August 9th.
August 9th. So available dates, I think, correct me anyone if I'm wrong, are August 9th, 10th, 11th, 30th, and 31st.
Can we do August 11th?
Trustee Pineda suggests August 11th. That is a Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m.
Sounds good to me.
Works for me.
Yes.
Works for me.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was the time?
August 11th, 7 to 9 p.m. Hopefully it will not take a full 2 hours, but
So I have a suggestion. Is
Mhm.
it possible to do 6 to 8?
it is possible for me.
Is anyone able to make 6 to 8?
Yes.
Yes.
That
Okay.
works for everyone? Thank you, Trustee Washington. 6 to 8 p.m.
Thank you.
August 11th for the legal training. When do you guys want to do the team building? Do we want to look
Should
at
we
the
talk
end
to
of
Dr.
August?
Iverson? Does that work for her?
Dr. Iverson, do you have any
August
schedule?
11th?
Heard August 10th, 11th. I mean, it's a little muffled, so just check behind me. August 10th, 11th, 30th, and 31st. Are those the dates I heard?
August.
Yes, so the board settled on August 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. for the legal training. Now we're trying to set the team building meeting. I'm wondering if we want to move to the 30th, 31st, which is the first week when the superintendent will have superintendent days scheduled September 1st and 2nd, I believe. And I see trustee Warner's hand.
Okay, I want to throw a monkey wrench in the works, and that's that I would
Okay,
like
6
there
to
to be a facilities walkthrough at the end of August so that we can see whether or not the schools are as they should be before they open on September 9th, and there should be a little window for people to do something about it if we find things we don't like. So now we're pushing in on that. So I want to actually schedule something else beyond it. I want to leave another day for that beyond whenever we do this second meeting.
So it looks like, Mr. Warner, you want to have a facilities walkthrough, you want it to be available to the full board. It looks like the dates available are August 9th, 10th, 11th, 30th, and 31st.
So for a facilities walkthrough, it probably should be at the end of August so that the custodial staff, right, Mr. Warner, can, after camps are out, they can actually get into the classrooms and do what needs to be done within the schools. It'll be a little bit more time for them. So usually maybe like at the end of August, we could do a facilities walkthrough. And then I'm thinking, this is just a suggestion, I'm looking at September 1st, which is a Wednesday, and I don't know if Dr. Iverson can do this, but it'll, for a team building activity right before the school year, you kind of get a kickoff, you get ready to have your first board meeting. I mean, you might have it already, but have a good board meeting and really get to know each other before the school year starts. September 1st is a suggestion.
The only concern I have about September 1st, did you want to say that,
Superintendent's
trustee Warner?
Conference Day, right.
That's it's listed on the calendar as a superintendent conference day, September 1st and 2nd. So Dr. Iverson will probably be pretty busy throughout the entire day that day with staff.
So we could do,
Dr. Iverson's talking.
Happening on the 1st of September. They got a little muffled. I heard, is that something where I'm reporting, September the 1st? Could you repeat that, please, trustee Washington, or whoever was speaking?
The first and second is the superintendent's conference day, is what Ms. Meredith said.
Oh, conference day. So those are the days for professional development for staff?
Correct.
Yes.
Right, for their opening of school. Okay, yes, I saw those on the calendar. They're called superintendent conference days. Okay, yes. I'm aware of those. Mhm.
So that's the
So
only
I would
reason
like
why,
to keep, those have been voted on. Those are solid. Those are on the calendar, correct?
right.
Correct.
yes.
Okay, so we're not changing those. All right.
And so we're back to the 30th or 31st. I don't know if you guys want to do a team building on one day and a walkthrough on the other?
Yeah, you don't want to do both.
Is it 30 or 31st too much for you? Or for team building activities?
Does anyone have any feedback on that?
Should the team building be on a weekend?
Yes.
So I would like to have, well, it's a little premature for me to, I have nothing on my schedule. So all these days I'm free. But I know it's September 1st and 2nd are the days prior to teachers returning. The 30th and 31st will probably be some time I'm going to need to do some planning. So planning for that day. So I would not want to be as much tied into team building the day before. Can we do the 30th instead of I just from my experience, I know the day before teachers return, you're cleaning up the last minute piece where you can have a very smooth transition and opening for teachers. And I don't know what that's going to look like being a new superintendent, what's in place and what plans have been done. So, so if that's possible to be considered.
Okay, great. So
Tracy, can we go back to the 10th, 11th, 12th for the team building then?
Yes, so maybe we need to go back. Let's cross out the 30th and 31st unless you want to do a building walkthrough with the facilities at that time. That's not necessarily Dr. Iverson.
That should be at the end.
Would you do the facilities walkthrough on the 30th?
No, that's perfect timing. They need time.
I hear side conversation. I don't know
Okay.
what's going on, so.
Okay, so why don't we won't touch the 31st. We could do the walkthrough on the 30th, and you go back to your week of the 11th and figure out your second retreat.
Okay, so we're going to do the legal. Why would we do legal? Okay, so we're going to do the legal on August 11th. When do we want to do team building? August 9th or 10th?
I'm good with that, but it's.
Yeah. You want the day in between? You want the 9th?
Trustee Pineda, do you have a suggestion?
Yeah, I can't do August 9th.
Oh, so then it's the 10th.
Yeah, so we'll do 2 days back to back. We have August 10th and August 11th. One for team building and one for legal training.
What time?
What time do you want to do August 10th?
August 11th, we have 6 to 8. What do we want to do for August 10th? I'm flexible
Well,
on
I
that.
just want to understand where we're doing it and how long, and whether we're just sort of doing it on our own, or if we're actually getting a mediator, or, I mean, I think these are all things that we need to discuss. I mean, on some level, we could do everything on August 11th. We could do like a morning session for team building, break for the rest of the day, and then do the legal in the evening, if that's just easier for people.
It's not easier for me only because I have to
Oh, yeah,
work.
because you have to work, okay.
So, so we have 2 evening sessions. Is everyone okay with 6 to 8 on August 10th? Anybody object? Speak now.
I have a suggestion.
Yes?
I don't know, I think we're going back, I'm going back to, I'm not sure who, I don't know if it was Tanya or David, but August 11th, we said 6 to 8. If we do 6 to 8:30 or 6 to 9, then we can add the team building along with legal, or even if we do 5:30. I'm just thinking, because they are work days, and to give up 2 nights, if we can do something to combine, I think that makes a lot more logical sense to me. That's my opinion. But, you know, if anyone has anything else to say, they can say.
I second that.
My only concern is that we do need to go over the committees at the retreat. That tends to be a long conversation. We also tend to go over the Board of Education self-evaluation from the year prior. So that's, you know, open session discussion. The public may be there. In the past, sometimes we've taken public comments. So I am a little hesitant to schedule a 3, possibly 4 hour at the end of the day, but I will go with majority.
So I agree with Tracy. I'd rather break it up. I think that Carol said that really the legal, even though we set aside 2 hours, should really be about an hour. And if we do the team building the evening before, I mean, it is what it is. We have to do this stuff, so.
Right, so we have a block of 2 days, and we plan within it.
Right, exactly.
Whatever fits in there,
Yeah.
whenever facilitators are available, and we can move topics around that are just our own. We'll plan a 2-day retreat, and it'll be evenings.
Trustee Thomas, I have not heard from you.
I just thought that the team building, that a weekend was probably better for it, but it sounds like I'm the only one.
I like the weekends as well. I just know that we ran into some restriction with dates. So it looked like the dates available were really only August 9th, 10th, 11th, 30th, and 31st, which were weekdays, unfortunately.
Okay.
I see a hand.
Sorry, I didn't see you, Trustee Valen.
Can we consider focusing our retreat only on the team building and the legal, and maybe split out the public session items to just a special meeting, moving back to one of the July dates? Because if the items that you mentioned, such as the board evaluation and the committees, and I don't know what else you said, perhaps.
That's a great
We were
idea.
looking at the retreat so that Dr. Iverson and some other staff might be available, but for those items, I don't know that that's such a concern.
That's a great idea. I did hear July become a issue with the dates. I heard Trustee Washington was not available the week of the 25th in July.
I believe we were, sorry,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I believe we were focusing on the dates after Dr. Iverson arrived, so we never really considered the week of the 19th.
The week that Dr. Iverson arrives to do a special meeting?
The week of the 12th or the 19th, if those items that require public attendance could be done as a special meeting during one of those 2 weeks. I don't think we discussed the availability during those 2 weeks before.
Well, me personally, I would prefer for Dr. Iverson to be available for our discussion on, additional organization things like committees, self-evaluation, looking at how we performed last year and how we're going to frame performing next year. Also going over starting the conversation for our 5-year plan. I would prefer for her to be there for that, but
I would agree.
what say you?
I would agree.
I agree with that. I didn't realize that there were more items on the public session portion.
So we're back to August 10th and 11th. Any suggestions, Trustee Pineda? You look deep in thought.
August 11th.
So you prefer to have one chunk, like 4-hour
Yes.
Yes.
chunk? Okay,
Yes.
so let's take a consensus here. Trustee Thomas, are
Yep.
you 2 nights or 1 night?
We can do the one night.
And Trustee Dragic, I heard you say 2 nights. Trustee Werner.
2 nights.
Trustee Pineda.
1 night, August 11th.
Okay, Trustee Valen.
1 night, but I'm concerned it will actually take longer than 4 hours for all the items mentioned.
You can be concerned, but I need you to commit. 1 night or 2? 1 night. Trustee Washington?
1 night.
Okay, 1 night to have it, so I'll bring my sleeping bag. I don't know if we're gonna get out in time.
What is the time, so it's August 11th?
So it looks
from-
like August 11th. So Ivy, did you get all that? August 11th, 6 to 8, we'll do legal training, we'll do retreat, and we're gonna try to do public session items
Madam
as well.
President,
Yes?
I'm also suggesting that you can start at 5 o'clock and maybe end at 9. It gives you more time for that one night.
5 to 9, a 4-hour block, thank you, I don't do math well. So is everyone okay with a 4-hour block from 5 to 9 on August 11th?
Let me check my calendar.
Okay,
So I just want to say that that's going to be one very long meeting, which I'll do if everyone else wants to do it, but I just hope we can squeeze it into 4 hours. I mean, it may even be longer than that. So I just want to say it's a bit of a shame to squeeze, I mean, it sounds practical, but it is a bit of a shame to squeeze it into a lump like that, because we could definitely use, how should I say, some extra focus on these issues going into the new year. So, but it is what it is.
I have a question.
yes, Ms. Washington?
If we do this on August 11, does that prevent us from coming back together another time during the year to continue with the training and continue with the team building?
It does not, but you
Okay.
heard, as you heard, we all have restrictions, so it looks like we're very slim on time. I see Mr. Pineda.
I can do the 5:30, 5 o'clock is fine. Both are fine with me.
So 5/5:30. Anyone else? So I'm gonna err on the side of 5:30, Mr. Pineda,
Okay.
to 9 p.m. I just, for the record, want to concur with Trustee Dragic that I do think we need to spend time team building. Think we need to spend time understanding the legal issues. And the actual public business that we need to do is also something we need to spend time on. It's August 11th. Dr. Iverson will be here, which is great. But we really need to spend time on this stuff. So it's good, we have a 3.5-hour scheduled appointment, meeting, so we're gonna make that commitment. Thank you all. August 11th, 5:30 to 9. You got that, Ivy?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and the location, I'm assuming, will be here? Or does anyone have any feedback about that?
We can do it at my place.
I second that.
I mean, I don't know, it's a public meeting, so I don't know how that will work, but we can definitely, everyone is welcome at my house, so. I don't know, right, I was gonna ask you about that. I can't hear you. Okay, okay. Got it. So, we can just do it at my place if everyone's up for that. I'm just saying.
So does anybody have any objection, any concern?
How many square feet do you have?
A lot.
Okay.
Yes,
like
there
in
is.
one room, like in one.
There is definitely enough room to accommodate all of us very comfortably, so that's, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Excuse me, Ms. Mayers?
Yes.
If you're going to hold a public discussion on committees and things of that nature, then it's a public meeting. So if you know, we would have to notice the location and you would have to allow members of the public to attend and all that, just like a regular meeting or special meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll put some lawn chairs out.
We've had cottage meetings before.
Yeah.
in years
We'll have
past,
some
so-
lawn chairs out. It's a big property.
So you're fine with?
I'm fine with that, yeah, I don't really mind. I'm pretty sure no one's gonna show up, but if someone wants to show up, we'll put chairs out and that's that.
Okay. I see some members of the public said they're coming. Trustee Valen, is that your hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a few points. I would like to mention to Dr. Dragic that when I was a public member, I did show up to the board retreats
Okay,
as an observer, so sometimes public will be there.
that's great. They're welcome. We'll have drinks.
Secondly, just a question. I want to, well, two things. Would that public portion of the meeting be televised? Is that a concern? And lastly, going back to Dr. Dragic's question earlier about how would this be structured? Would we seek a moderator? Is there some sort of exercises
Right.
we would be doing? I think that's an important question to address.
So I will, if the board sees fit, especially in the essence of time, it's now 9:15, our superintendent, Dr. Iverson, will be here. I would like to work with her to discuss how to set up the retreat, moderator or not. Of course, I'm going to ask all of you to give feedback with your opinion, maybe think about it. I also would want to get some costs with our district clerk. I'd want her to reach out to BOCES and any other entities to find out costs so I can present those to the board. And then maybe you let me know, I could feed you that information, speak with Dr. Iverson, send you an email, let you know, and you guys feed that information back to me that way. Because I don't think we would have all that knowledge tonight.
I think perhaps our attorneys could also recommend. I mean, right.
So, right, so our attorney just commented that NISBA, New York State School Board Association, does retreats. I think BOCES might also do retreats, so I would like to get some information on pricing, options that they provide, and then be able to provide that to you guys so you can make an informed opinion on how we could structure the retreat.
In the evening.
Okay, so we could collect that data. Does anyone have any other points of discussion? Going once, going twice. Okay, so let's move on from that topic. We have new business. Does anyone have any new business to discuss?
Yes.
Trustee Dragic and then Trustee Pineda.
So I just wanted to hark back to my question to Lisa about the updates on our website. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to the tech department, but my concern is that we've had input come from several committees, and when I look at our website, I don't really, I mean, I've seen obviously some changes because of the superintendent turnover, but I'm just wondering who's really working on that and where they're at, and if there's a way, on some level, if the tech department wants us to sort of consolidate our input so that they can be more efficient in addressing it. So that was my question.
Thank you, Trustee Dragic. I have been in conversation with Mr. Ramirez regarding that, and he has informed me that the main page has been updated with the new administration information, with Dr. Iverson's letter that's posted, and that I am the acting superintendent in her absence until July 20th. Videos for welcome and the Spanish screen have been updated, are still incoming, some of that information. The new video will showcase students at the last graduation ceremony, and that is still in progress. The PR team will be meeting, I believe, next week with myself and with technology to go over a draft of a plan and some milestones for the new administration and social media outreach. And the Board of Education clerk and the network administrator, Ivy and Laser, are working on the Civic Engagement Solution website to attend our Board of Education outreach to community organizations and families, and reports will be provided as that is done.
Okay, so I just had, there was a request, I think Dr. Reynolds is still here, so it was actually made through the Education and Wellness Committee that parents really wanted like a separate social emotional learning tab. I don't know if, I don't think it really ever made its way to the tech department, but and also, I don't know, Ashley, if you have more insight into what should be happening with the website, since you're on the Safety and Technology Committee, which actually I'm not a member of, but I just...
Trustee Pineda?
Sure. So, summary, there's a few projects going on at this time. One of the projects is the CEC-driven project with the Civic Plus website. Separately, there is a project to move some of the Board of Education sub-sites onto a Google Sites platform. And tertiary, in the future, as part of future discussion, is the Safety and Technology Committee will be discussing whether other portions of our website should also be moving onto Google Sites, because that gives us other features, and what the timeline would be as a recommendation to the BOE once this conversation happens.
Okay, Trustee Dragic, are you okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right, Trustee Pineda, I saw your hand.
Yes, so as the, I guess it's still current Governance and Policy Committee Chair, former Governmental Relations Committee Chair, I did have some members of the community reach out to me and ask specifically what our plan is to introduce Dr. Linda Iverson to our political representatives and what our timeline should be. So I'm not sure what we plan on doing there. Do we want to relinquish that to a committee? Do we want to have that at a future, as a discussion point at a future meeting? But I thought it made sense to bring it up, and we can come up with some kind of plan so that we can make the introduction for Dr. Linda Iverson to those representatives in a form that makes sense.
I definitely think we need to get feedback from Dr. Iverson as well. So I will hopefully have a conversation with Dr. Iverson sometime soon before she comes, just to check in with her and see how she wants to meet with the political people in our community and how the board wants to present Dr. Iverson to the public, including the political factions in the community. Mr. Warner, I see you wanting to talk.
I would think we need to get school open, and then after that, we can go after that.
Yeah,
Okay, any other trustees?
I agree with David that she should arrive and get settled, and that's for the school year, but, yeah.
I just know, Dr. Iverson, did you hear that? Because it seems like she's trying to hear what you're saying.
Sorry, Dr. Iverson.
We're planning your life.
Oh, we can't hear you.
She said, "I'm so sorry," and then I didn't hear, I
She
couldn't read
muted,
her
she
lips.
muted.
It's so muffled, and then with the mask on, I am having a little difficulty hearing clearly. And then some turn your head that way. So I'm catching like every other word, so I have missed a lot. I'm sorry. I will follow up with President Mayers and Trustee and Ivy after this meeting, but yes, I have to tell you, I've missed a lot of the meaty stuff that I hear my name, then I get a bits and pieces. The volume is just not working very well. I'm sorry.
I apologize for that, Dr.
That's not
Iverson.
a problem, not at all. I'm appreciating being at this meeting, but I will follow up on what was discussed.
Okay, I'm going to also concur with Mr. Warner. I don't know, Trustee Pineda, Thomas, Valen, Washington. The suggestion was to wait for any public, the suggestion was to wait for any public or political introductions and let Dr. Iverson get into the job. She has some urgent things to take care of as soon as she gets here, some critical positions, some critical things she needs to address. Trustee Pineda.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I was just asking so that we had some kind of plan.
I concur, okay. Trustee Warner,
Okay, are we moving on to other items of new business?
we sure are. You have another item?
Okay, I'm going to butcher the name here. I think it's the American Recovery Act. We had about $2 million laid aside, and we had to come up with a plan and have...
I can't hear you, David, I'm sorry.
As part of the COVID relief efforts and the legislation that was passed at the federal government level, I believe there were $2 million set aside for us, and we have to come up with a plan on how to use it. And of course, I'm on the facilities committee at the moment, so I'm thinking some small portion of that may go towards the facilities, but a lot of it has to go towards making up for instructional loss as a result of COVID. So we have to come up with a plan for how to spend it and have the public weigh in on that, and then submit it to the state so that they can come back and tell us if that's approved or not. And I'm wondering where we are in the process of that.
Well, we're nowhere on that process because we have not met and discussed that. However, I think that's a conversation Dr. Iverson should definitely be involved in, as well as closely working with our business official, Ms. Raymond, to give us some suggestions, as well as us take feedback from the community on suggestions. Any other trustee have opinion on this? I see Ms. Washington.
I definitely think we should wait for Dr. Iverson, but Mr. Warner, when it comes to our facilities, you are right, because I'm very concerned about the ventilation systems in our schools. So that is something that's a priority, but we do need to let Dr. Iverson come in and work with Lisa Raymond, and I'm hoping that they understand the severity of the ventilation systems that need to be fixed in our schools. So, yes, I do agree.
Thank you.
I have a question, actually. David, are there sort of mandated percentages on what it must be spent on, or is it up to us to really define that?
There's a second generation of rules that came in after the initial legislation came out. and it said, you have to be careful that, one school doesn't get all the money and other schools don't get it, because it's along the line of, you don't want the rich school to keep all the money and the poor school to not get enough. So there are rules that you have to go through and hoops that you have to jump through to make sure that your money is allocated properly.
You mean allocated between buildings?
Yes.
Okay.
So the state worries about it at the level of how much does each district get, and then our district as the local education agency has to worry about how much goes
How
to
it's
which building.
distributed, okay.
And so maybe you can't spend it all in one spot, and we have to look at that and see what's allowed.
But my question was more, is it possible, and I'm not saying that we should, but is it possible to spend all of it on facilities, or are we required to spend
No, at
like
least
70%
20% must go
on
to
catching
making
up?
for the instruction.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Mr. Werner, can you repeat that?
No, at least 20% has to go for makeup instruction. And
Got it.
I kind of think that the curriculum people should be able to take the first pass at it
Okay,
before we see what's left, to see what kind of program we can make work.
got it, okay.
Okay, any other trustee with new business? I do want to follow up on an email that came out from a trustee inquiring about summer school. I don't know, Dr. Reynolds or Miss Raymond, Dr. Reynolds. Does anyone want to give us an update? Today was the first day of summer school. There were several questions in the email presented.
Thank you, Madam. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Through the Superintendent, Ms. Raymond, I just wanted to give a brief update about our summer school attendance. Today, we were happy to state that our ECP program with our rising kindergarten students is fully enrolled. We do have 37 students who are attending that program. At our ESY program, we currently have 40 families who accepted this program, and all of those seats are filled. We do, of course, we are required to provide ESY, which is extended school year, to any student who has ESY written into their IEP, but we must keep in mind that the parents do not have to accept those seats. So we are fully enrolled with all of the families who have accepted that program. For our Highview Enrichment Program, for our rising grades 1 through 7, we currently are fully enrolled in grades 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are currently have 1 seat available for our 5th grade, our rising 5th graders. We currently have 3 seats available for our rising 6th graders and 2 seats available for our rising 7th graders. Keeping in mind, though, that these positions and these seats are available based on students who are either required to have academic intervention services or potentially have academic intervention services, or based on teacher recommendation. So Mr. Della Cava is working with his team. We anticipate having those seats fully enrolled by the end of this week. We do have to look to see which families have chosen to come and have not. Finally, at our Woodlands Middle High School Transitioning and Development of Cohorts program, this was open to all of our rising grade 8 through 12 students. We only have approximately 32 students who have taken advantage of this. As a result, we're going to continue with our recruitment efforts. If we're not able to recruit more students, we will keep the 32 students, or however many do fully enroll into the program, for the full 2-week period, as opposed to having them in for 1 week at a time. That concludes my report. I yield my time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reynolds. Any trustees with follow-up questions? Okay. I believe that concludes the new business section of the IC. Trustee Pineda.
Thank you. So my last question for this evening, the new trustees are probably not aware of this. On your desk for everyone is a Code of Ethics form that we just passed. We just ratified basically our handbook on new board members. Included in that was this Board of Education Code of Ethics form. We have not made it formal policy yet. That has to be discussed in a future meeting, etc. But I would ask that everyone sign this form because basically this agrees all of us to a code of ethics on how we operate and how we will conduct ourselves. And I think that this moves us forward in the direction that benefits our children. So I would encourage you all to sign it. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pineda. Are there any other new business items before we close it? I see Trustee Valen.
Yeah, sorry, just to follow up again with Dr. Reynolds. As far as the middle high school recruitment effort continuing for the summer program, could you state for the public how they should, who they should contact to, if they're interested in enrolling? And as a second question, could you also just update us on the summer school lunch program? Thank you.
Sure. Trustee Valen, I will defer the second part of your question to Superintendent Raymond. For the first part of the question, anyone who is interested in attending the Women's Middle High School program, I am going to ask that you please send an email to our program administrator, Mr. Mandel Holland, at MHOLLAND, that's M Holland, at greenberggcsd.org. Once you get in contact with Mr. Holland with your information, he will reach out to you and we will surely get you into the program.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Reynolds. And are there any other, oh, I'm sorry, the food service question for Ms. Raymond.
Thank you. Yes, we are doing the summer food service program. It's free to everyone who is under 18 years of age. You can come and pick up a box that will provide you with 7 days worth of lunches. Anybody can come and pick up a box. So Gary, our food service director from Aramark, said that if you are from a neighboring school district and just happen to be in our district, you have the right to stop here and pick up a box for the 7 days. So there are pickup spots and there are drop-off spots. They also, it has been advertised, we have flyers out. I'm not positive that it's on the webpage, but I will double check, and if it is not, I will make sure that it gets on there. And he said that it has been very successful so far this year. Excuse me, this summer.
Thank you so much, Ms. Raymond. Are there any other new business items?
I'm sorry.
Trustee Valen?
Could we just clarify, do we have the information right now as to when and where those pickups are? Or would that need to be posted somewhere later?
I don't have that information right here with me, but I do know that it is in different locations on different days, so people can access it from across the campus.
Are you okay, Trustee Valen?
I am hoping that gets posted somewhere online, because I've not seen any flyers, so.
Okay, so is it possible to follow up tomorrow with Ms. Raymond?
Yes, I will.
About it?
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other new business items? Going once. Okay, with that said, we're going to move on and adjourn the meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn tonight's reorganization meeting?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9:36. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
I'm gonna keep.
Trustees, can you please pass down your code of ethics, if you could sign it tonight?
Meeting on YouTube now.
Trustee Washington Valen, I don't know if you heard